name's Paul Talbot and welcome to this new series which is called Paul Talbot's Majestic Aquariums. In this video series what I hope to do is outline very basically the easiest ways to run a reef aquarium. Now where I think this video will be particularly valuable is with people that don't necessarily get the time to read. Now I get a lot of customers come into my shop all the time and they've got so many unanswered questions, so much they want to ask. Most of the information, you know, you try to sell them a book, you say that read this, read that, but a lot of your average people just purely don't get time. So I really see one of the functions that this video is going to serve is to give you an insight into how to run the reef aquarium without requiring you to spend massive amounts of time reading. So if I can sit here and explain to you how to do it, then that saves a lot of your time. Most of the things that you'll learn on this video are things that I've learned through my own trial and error. I used to be a cichlid breeder and I used to breed lots and lots of cichlids, and when you go to sell the cichlids to the shops, if you sell them and you ask for cash, you don't tend to really get that much for them, as opposed to if you sell them for credit. So I found that through all the different aquarium shops across Sydney, I was billing up pretty large amounts of credit, and that's one of the main things that got me involved in the saltwater, is basically as a way of using up my credit. So because I had fairly large amounts of credit available to me through the shops, I would try various corals in various spots and learn that these ones don't like being up near the light, those ones like being at the bottom, these ones like being at the top, these ones like a lot of water flow, these ones don't like a lot of water flow, these ones you can't have next to those ones. So all these little lessons that I've learnt have mainly been due to trial and error. Nowadays there's a lot more literature available through the internet and through a lot of the very good books that are available. When I was getting involved in this many years ago, there just wasn't this availability, so my trial and error has really got me to the stage that I'm at now. Another thing I've really learnt about keeping and being involved in reef aquariums is that there isn't necessarily a clear right and a clear wrong. There's many different ways of running a reef aquarium, so all of the views that I express, I guess, very much my opinion. Different people definitely have different experiences. Now I liken that, I guess, to putting forward parts in a Holden. If one person's got a system that works really well and you might use a couple of someone else's ideas in that system, you may find that that system may not run as well as you initially intended, and you can liken that to having a Ford and then putting some Holden parts in it may not make the Ford run better. So just of course bear that in mind. Then the other thing I find is you can give 5 different people the same bit of advice and definitely get different feedback under different situations. Now an aquarium is by far the ultimate piece of furniture. In my travels I get to see some of the most spectacular houses, and I often walk into the house, and when I'm in there I recognise whether it's a nice televisions and nice features of the house, nice lounge. By the time I finish, the total focus of the room tends to be the reef aquarium. A reef aquarium is not only relaxing, not only the ultimate piece of furniture, is also heaps cheaper than water views. A lot of my customers will spend millions of dollars to get a block of land so they can look at the water. And I say, well, hey, I can give you a window and you get to look in the water. I just want to stress is one of the biggest problems that govern a reef aquarium is definitely temperature. Just make sure that when you're positioning the aquarium, you put the aquarium into a position in the house which is as cool as possible, as well ventilated as possible. Air conditioning is excellent, plenty of ventilation. Hot stuffy rooms is really where you don't want to put the aquarium. Try and keep it out of direct sunlight. The reason why you want to keep it out of direct sunlight is not so much because you're going to get more algae, it's more a case of temperature. As long as, if you're getting direct sunlight into your aquarium and you're able to control your temperature, then you can almost look at the direct sunlight as being an advantage. On the other hand, if the direct sunlight's going to heat the aquarium up over 25 degrees, then it must be looked upon as being a disadvantage. That a lot of people run their reef aquariums at 26, 27 degrees. I definitely find the best results if you do run the tank at 25 degrees. Try to position the aquarium so it is constantly viewable. For example, in lounge rooms, in places where you can comfortably sit and watch the aquarium. In the same room as the television is an excellent idea. I've seen some aquariums in hallways, and though it looks lovely as a piece of furniture, it's really not quite as practical because you're walking past the aquarium. It's not in a nice little secluded corner like this one, where you're likely to get less stress on the animal. Make sure wherever you put the aquarium, it's very easy to service. I've seen some beautiful setups that are in walls and so forth, but if you don't have plenty of access area, if you don't have plenty of easy ability to service that aquarium, it'll make you less likely to service it. Just bear in mind traffic flow too. Try to have the fish tank in a corner or in a place that it's going to get a little bit less people walking to and from it, and be a bit careful with the double-sided aquariums. If you've got an aquarium where people are walking past on both sides, try and make sure there's plenty of rock cover so the fish can get well and truly into the rocks, because we can find that in aquariums that don't have backgrounds, that feel very open and vulnerable, the fish do tend to stress a fair bit more. So for example, if one of these fish stress, they're just going to duck in underneath the rocks. On the other hand, if the aquarium was double-sided and the fish felt a lot more open and vulnerable, you find their stress level tends to stay elevated for longer. So if a fish freaks, it wants to jump inside a rock so it can hide, it's darker, it's away from its stress. That way the stress goes down and then the fish will be happy to come back out again. On the other hand, if the fish freaks out and the fish has got nowhere to hide, then that does tend to elevate their stress levels for longer. Another interesting fact is that apparently if you sit and stare and watch your reef aquarium for 15 minutes every day, it'll lower your stress level by about 40%.